Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I am going to be starting a creator diaries. There's a couple of reasons why I wanted to start this series. One, I wanted to do it to kind of document my personal growth for myself. And I want to spend time every week thinking about intentionally how I'm creating my content and what I'm doing. I thought it would be fun for people to be able to follow along with me as somebody who's basically starting out at ground zero. I would love to make creator friends. So if you guys have your own YouTube channel or if you're interested in starting a YouTube channel, I would love you to comment below and maybe we could talk and have like a creator community. I don't really know anybody IRL that is doing content creation, so it would be fun to meet some people. But yeah, I just thought it would be fun to kind of document my journey and explain why I want to do my YouTube channel and kind of just have something to reflect on in the future, to see how all of it is unfolding. So for starters, I just want to say my name is Tiffany. I decided to name my channel with Tiffany. Originally, I had named it Believe in Magic, or 93 Moments of Magic. I think I had toggled between the two. And so I have a small business named 93 Moments. 93 Moments was kind of me because I like planners, but Moments was taken and I was born in 93. So I kind of just combined the two, 93 Moments. And that was really my passion project. I make pen bags. Well, I don't make them, I have them made. And that kind of started out as when several years ago when I wanted a bag for my pens. I really just had to go to Hot Topic and kind of get like a kawaii style bag, which is a little bit too cutesy for me. And my friend was like, "You look like a 5-year-old girl." And I was like, "You're not wrong." And it just kind of inspired me to make my own bags. And I don't like the bags where the pins are exposed. I want them behind the vinyl. I want them protected. I want to know they're not going to fall off. I don't want them to get scratched. So that's just kind of how it started out. And then now I have my circle bag, which holds the ears, which is the patent pending product. And so that's really where my journey began on trying to make money on my own, because that's really what this whole thing is about, is for me to be able to make a self-sustaining income without having to clock in somewhere like 9 to 5 or report to somebody, even though I work from home now. So I have more freedom than I've had in the past, but I still just really want to make money on my own without having to turn in work to somebody else. I just want to be independent. So that's where it really came from. Is I had this idea, I had this creativity and desire to want to build something like that, and I had the desire to have independence. So that's where my journey kind of began. And when I was doing that, I was making more money. I was kind of like at the peak of my income when I was working before becoming a mom. And I quickly realized marketing is really hard and really expensive. So that's when I was kind of like, oh, I'm going to start trying to make maybe some YouTube videos and try to grow some kind of audience, or, just make content and then kind of like tag my business or talk about it in that process. And that's kind of where this has gone and like really started to take off. But now that I've been doing it, I've kind of enjoyed it. And I know that there's potential. Yes, I can talk about my business and make money that way, but then just like making money this way. And I want to explore both avenues of that. My biggest goal for my YouTube channel is I would love to get monetized. Like, that's obviously a goal. But when I started out, my biggest goal was to get to the point where I had my shop on my YouTube channel, so then I could have my bags and stuff on my shop, and that could serve as a point of marketing for me. So that's really been my goal. And where I'm at right now, let me see, I want to be really accurate. I have 1,153 subscribers, and I basically started my YouTube channel in 2023. I didn't start taking it really seriously until maybe 2024, and I didn't put myself on camera until last year. So it's been less than a year of me being on camera and being more and more consistent since I've quit my job. So I got a few hundred subscribers pretty quickly because when I post short form content, I post like a lot of concerts and stuff because I live in Vegas. And those short videos get subscribers pretty quickly. And the long form is really what I have been struggling with. I'm at 500 watch hours, which at my peak I was at over 1,000 watch hours. And then some of the stuff started to rotate out because you have to do it within a calendar year. So that is where I'm at in terms of my analytics, and kind of why I started trying to do this is I have my business. I want to start doing marketing, and then I started liking doing YouTube, and then I started getting brave enough to put myself in front of the camera. And so there's a part of it of like, okay, that's why I want to be a content creator, but I also want to briefly talk about the why of like why I crave this independence and why I want to work for myself and have an independent income. Is because I actually don't mind working. I like working. I think I'm actually good at it. I'm good at tasks. I can get stuff done. But I'm 32 years old, and I kind of had two careers where I was kind of working in regular retail, but I started being able to move up pretty quickly, and I was on a good trajectory with that company to keep going and have like a real income and career there. And when I left, I was approaching a little over 6 figures. And then I decided that the retail life was just too go. That was definitely a job where I was really hungry for it when I got out of college, and I wanted to grow, and I wanted to grow quickly. So then I would start working 50 plus hours a week. And once I found that once you started doing that and you kind of set that bar for yourself, it was really hard to be like, okay, now I'm only going to work 40 hours. Like I had kind of set the precedence that I was an employee that raised the bar, that was going to do whatever it took, you know, rain, sleet, shine, I was going to be out there doing it. Obviously I just burnt myself out, and it just wasn't really fun. And also I had kind of achieved what I wanted to achieve there. I thought it was going to be a lot harder. I thought it was going to take a lot longer. And I got the position that I wanted, and I was kind of just like, oh, okay. And then once I got that position, I could really see a path for me through. And I think a little part of me thought that that was a little bit boring, that it like, I mean, it wasn't easy. It was really hard. I put in a ton of work for it for a few years, but it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, I'm burnt out and I don't really see the challenge here anymore. I think I'm going to move on. So then I got a job where so the previous job that I had done, I had focused on a lot of things. When I worked in sales, I sold in every department the store sold. So now I move on and I just focus on one department, and I specialize in that. And it was a small business, so I was like, okay, it's mom and pop, it's not going to be a corporate machine. And I think everybody gives corporate machine a bad rap, and I think it's well deserved. But there's a lot of things to working for a big company that you don't get when you work for mom and pop, like the software, the budgets, the PTO, the 401k match, the benefits. I mean, I could go on and on about all the reasons why actually the job before was better, but the environment for me was better. It was a slower pace. It was, one department, and there was a clear growth trajectory for me there as well, because there really wasn't any strong management there. I knew if I wanted it, I could mold myself into being the person that they needed, especially having been being an employee there for a few years. They could bring somebody in from the outside, but I was entrenched in the daily activity there. So to teach somebody how we operate when we don't have the learning systems in place, I knew I could kind of go on that path. But and that I was going to do that. I was going to work on this YouTube stuff on the sideline, and then I was going to keep doing that and just kind of you know, whatever trajectory I was going to end up going on was going to be what was going to happen. So, you know, if I was going to keep growing in that company at faster than I could get something to take off of my own business, then I was going to do that. But if I could get something to take off of my business, then I would set that aside and kind of chase that. But one of the things I feel like that doesn't get talked about enough for women in this day and age, and that's an opinion. Everybody can feel differently about it. At least that's how it felt like in my life, is planning on being a mom. I didn't really know what I wanted my life as a mom to look like. I don't really feel like it was something that I talked about growing up, or it was talked about to me. It was kind of just like, go to college, get a job. I played tennis in college, so there was like, okay, maybe become like a professional athlete. And that was really it. There was never really a discussion on becoming a mom and what I would want my life to be like when I was a mom. And even with my husband, like, we never really sat down and was like, do you want to be at home? Do you want to keep working? I don't even know if I would have had the answers to all that anyway, because I just feel like, you know, you don't know until you know and you're living it, kind of thing. But all that to say, I got pregnant last year, and we were trying, but I wasn't really sure because I wasn't getting a regular period. I just didn't know what was going on. I didn't know when it would happen, if it could happen. I hadn't gone to the doctor yet or anything like that. So it was just kind of like this thing that we were trying to do for, I guess, about a year, if you can say we were actually trying for a year. And so then I got pregnant, and then it was like, I don't want to be in this cubicle. I am not going to have this child and then drop it off who knows where at this point, because like, we did well, but not well enough to just turn in all my money to childcare. And for what? For me to sit in this cubicle and wait for it to be 5 o'clock, because I worked in luxury sales. It wasn't like a fast-paced environment, so I actually had like a ton of free time in my cubicle, and that's why I was able to do things that I feel like would separate me to be management in that company, because I had plenty of free time to do that. I mean, towards the end, it was getting really hard. Sales were picking up, and the expectations of the clients was getting to be a lot, but it just wasn't anything that felt worth separating myself from my son. So I kind of tried to pretend like everything was going to be fine, and I would just kind of keep making money and figure it out when it came. But then quickly after a month or two, even just being pregnant and being in the cubicle, it was like, I don't feel good. I want to lay down and I can't. And I don't like living that way. Being sick or not wanting to be somewhere and kind of not really, but kind of really being forced to be there, didn't feel good at all. And I talked to my brother, and you know, some things aligned for the nonprofit that I work for now, and I just decided I didn't care if this blew up in my face. I didn't care if I regretted it. I was going to take the opportunity to just try to rearrange my life in a way that made sense for me and made sense for the way that I wanted my life to be structured. I have a really high tolerance for risk, mostly because I just have faith in my work ethic. You know, if something blows up in my face, I just know I can just go get another job and work my way back up, and everything will be just fine. I didn't find it to be that difficult the first time around when I was going through the process of trying to work up the ladder. I know that can sound any kind of way, and you're welcome to take that any way you want. It's not my intent to be conceited or nasty about it, but that's just genuinely how I feel about it, is that I can take a risk because I trust myself to fix it. So that's, you know, I told my husband I want to work for this nonprofit. We're gonna sell our house, which we were planning on doing anyway. We were gonna pay off our, my car was paid off. We were gonna pay off his Jeep, pay off some other bills, move to a new house, put the down payment for the money we made on our current house. And I was basically gonna start from ground zero. Like, I'm gonna go work for this nonprofit from home. I'm not gonna make this big income anymore, and I'm gonna basically start my life over. And that's where I kind of got brave enough to start trying to do YouTube, because it was kind of like, not that I had to, because I have the income from my other job, and I'm lucky enough where I can work up to full-time hours there if I wanted to, which actually makes up for my base salary from my last job. It just doesn't have all the commissions, which I didn't budget my commissions into my regular bills anyway. I would kind of use the commissions as like stuff to fund my business or fund money to travel, because it was just unreliable income. I just didn't know when it would come in, so I couldn't rely on it for bills, so I just never did. But yeah, I just decided, okay, I'm at home now, I'm not working all these hours, like, let me start trying to do this YouTube thing more and more. Something about being pregnant really helped me have confidence in myself. I don't know what it was, because I don't know, I did lose a little bit of weight when I was pregnant, because I just had a hard time eating. I just felt really full having the baby in my stomach, I guess. So I don't know if that's what it was, where I did lose a little bit of weight, so maybe that's what helped with my confidence. I also just kind of took a risk and filmed one video where I was on camera, and I realized it really wasn't that bad. So then I think that stepping stone helped me go on to the next thing. So I think it was a little bit of that. It was a little bit of taking a risk and trying the first one and realizing it wasn't that bad, losing a little bit of weight because I just felt full from the baby, and having a little bit more self-confidence. But just honestly, being pregnant and being a mom in general just has helped my confidence a lot. I don't know if it's just the shift in mentality of like, what is important to me is just different. I'm not as self-focused and centered anymore. I think about him more often than I think about myself. So when I see myself on the camera, it just is like, whatever. I don't know, but it, you know, being a mom has definitely done a lot for my self-confidence. But yes, that's really what has led me to start getting on camera more, getting more serious. That's kind of like my backstory and what's led me to this point. And I think the part I really wanted to focus on was, and I talked about this in my vision board video, is I did the career thing. I'm a mom now. I'm happy at home. I have a happy marriage. I've kind of achieved like the foundational things that I really wanted for myself in my life. I'd like to have a little bit more of a savings built up. That's probably really the only thing missing. But other than that, like, I don't really care to be a millionaire. I don't care to have all these lavish things. I wear the same jean shorts every day, and I like that. They're very utilitarian to me. I like my pockets the way that I like them. I wear the same shoes every day. I just change my top. I've recently gotten more into jewelry. I've had the same $20 Amazon glasses for over a year now. Like, I just don't care a lot about crazy things. I like to decorate my house, as you can see. But even then, I don't buy like high-end finishes or anything like that. They're all like very reasonable things. Me and my husband do everything ourselves, so we don't even spend money on labor or anything like that. So because I feel like I've achieved these like foundational things and I'm 32, it's kind of like, well, now what? Do I just work for this nonprofit for 50 years or whatever it is, and that's what it is? Like, is that, you know, I raised my son and that's it, and I've arrived, or, you know, what else? And, you know, working on my business and growing that and being on YouTube, and then I started to ask myself, why do I want this business? Like, what is this business trying to solve for me? Yes, I'm trying to solve the customer issue of providing a product for the pens, and there's that whole conversation, but why do I want this business? What is it solving to me? And it's a place to be creative It's a place for me to feel fulfilled and to be working on something. And in my head, I had it, if I made money on my own, then it would give me my time and freedom to choose how I want to spend my time on each day. And obviously YouTube overlaps with a lot of that. So that's really my goal now. Is my dream for my next dream for myself is to be like, okay, when we went to Japan, we felt like we were rushing through everything and we had to get back. And when we left Paris, we were like, we don't know if we'll ever come back again. You know, how many times in somebody's life do you go to Paris? And we didn't even feel like we got to see everything. And same thing when we went to Rome. We went for 1 week, but we didn't go to other areas of Italy. And it's just like, when you live your life 9 to 5 and you only get 2 weeks of PTO, and it's a huge effort to get to these other countries, you know, how like you really just have these small windows of opportunity to explore and experience. And you know, if you decide to take a domestic trip, you're really just pushing off those explorations for years at a time. And we want to go back to Japan, and we were really thinking like, man, it could be like 5-6 years or more before we get back here. And it just kind of made me sad. So that's kind of where my goal is, where I want that independence to be, is okay, if I do YouTube and I can make money on my own, I can go. And you know, I want to move to Florida, but I'm kind of scared of hurricanes and things like that and flooding. But if I can make money on my own, then we can decide, hey, we're gonna go spend 3 weeks in Florida and then we're gonna come home. We don't have to move to Florida. We can just go rent, spend a little time over there and come back. Or we can go to Japan and go to Japan for 4 weeks, explore and work at a pace that we want to work at, and then come back. And we can live a little bit more free and slow. We don't have to be locked into this time window because our job told us you can only have this amount of time off. So again, that's the whole backstory of the why I'm doing this, is to kind of reach that next level of where I want to see my life going, is being able to explore and adventure more and do that on a time frame that feels more suitable to me and my family. So now that I kind of got like the background out of the way, next part is I kind of want to talk about just how I decided to do my YouTube channel, how I feel like it's going, you know, what is my plan, how am I going to achieve all this stuff. So I guess we'll start with the name. So we talked about the 93 moments of magic, and I thought like the 93 moments of magic would be like my personal brand, and the 93 moments kind of tied into my brand 93 moments. But once I started getting on camera, I kind of wanted the brand to shift a little bit more towards me and getting to know me, Tiffany. And then my brand will just be separate from itself. And I don't even know if it will stay 93 moments long term. I do like the name, but I don't know, we'll see where that ends up going. But I decided I wanted to change it to With Tiffany. And the whole idea is, so the personal brand will be With Tiffany, and then I'll have these playlists on my channel, and it will be cooking with Tiffany, travel with Tiffany, DIY with Tiffany, renovation with Tiffany, and like just different stuff with Tiffany. So that's why I kind of went with that. I didn't really want to, and I know it's probably gonna bite me in the butt because every advice video tells you to niche down. You know, if I'm gonna do cooking, then I need to basically be a cooking channel. If I'm gonna do travel, then I basically need to be a travel channel. If I'm gonna do Disney, then I need to be a Disney channel. And because all these things that I want in my life, you know, I would love to be able to go to Japan for 3 weeks, or go to Orlando for 3 weeks. And I would love to not have to report to my job, and, you know, really, I'm pretty happy with my job. Now I'm at the point where I'm just trying to retire my blue collar husband so he doesn't have to leave us every day. Um, I would like all of those things, but they're actually not necessities. The way that our life is structured right now is really good, and we could go on um, like this. Like my husband has his 401k, he can keep doing what he's doing, and then we'll eventually retire. We put a big down payment on our house, so we can definitely, I think, get our house paid off earlier and lower our bills, and he wouldn't have to work as much. Like we could kind of keep on this like slow trajectory to where we want to go, which is great because it takes pressure off me. Like these are all wants, they're not needs and necessities. So it kind of gives me the freedom to really want to go about this stuff the way that I want to go about it. And I'm hoping, and I don't know if it's going to work, but because every advice channel basically says it's not going to, is I'm hoping that if somebody follows me, that the playlist that they like me for will be enough for them to want to subscribe to my channel. And I hope that, if they like the Disney playlist, that maybe they could possibly like the travel or the cooking one as well and want to stay around for a little bit more content. And it will take some time for me to work up my catalog, but I believe how the algorithm works, like if you organize it into playlists. So if I have a cooking playlist and I have like 20 cooking videos, then the algorithm will recommend the next cooking one. So kind of get that loop feedback there for somebody to watch multiple of my videos. Or if they, if I have a Disney one, they watch one of my Disney videos, then they can kind of loop into my Disney playlist. And my Disney playlist is up to over 20 videos now. So, sorry, talking for a long time is hard for me. So that's kind of the structure of my channel. Is I don't want to just be a Disney channel. I love Disney a lot. I am a big fan. But can I make my whole online identity about Disney? I don't think I can. I am learning to cook. I love it. I'm doing great at my budgeting and things like that. But can I make my whole identity about cooking? No, I can't. I just, as somebody who is a chameleon and likes to do a million things and likes to have her hands in a million things, I just don't feel like I can live my life like that. So I'm really going to try to go all in on this With Tiffany brand and having these subcategories where cooking with Tiffany, Disney with Tiffany, DIYs with Tiffany, blah, 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 with Tiffany, creator diaries with Tiffany. And hopefully people will find the niche within the With Tiffany umbrella that wants them to stick around, especially now that I have been brave enough to put myself on camera. Hopefully people get to know me and they want to stay around. I know I have 3 favorite creators right now, Paige Lorenz, XO McKenna, and Catherine K or Catnip. All those brands, like Paige only has one channel, but she does multiple things on her one channel. She has her Dairy Boy brand, she does beauty, she does home content, she travels with her fiance, he's on the tennis tour, and all that's on one channel. And she could post about any number of things. She does cooking, any one of those things. I'm clicking on the video. I just love to hang out with her. Like, that's great for me. XO McKenna has 2 channels. She has her main like home renovation DIY channel, and she has her vlog channel. And I always watch her, obviously her main channel for her DIYs, but on her vlog channel, like, to me it doesn't matter like what she does that day. Like, she could be doing Christmas stuff, she could be decorating for a party, she could be thrifting, going to an estate sale, like whatever. Like, I'm just there to hang out with her. And kind of same thing for Catnip. She has her business channel and her personal channel, where the personal channel is mostly travel. But she started doing some cozy at home days and things like that because she's not traveling quite as much right now. And I'm really just there to hang out. So I'm hoping by putting myself out on camera and having like the With Tiffany umbrella, that hopefully I can build a connection with people where they want to just come hang out with me. you know, hang out with Tiffany and we're gonna cook today, or we're gonna do planner today, or we're going to Disney today. And the content really doesn't matter too much. It's more about just like hanging out and connecting and sharing tips and tricks and things like that. And hopefully one day engaging in the comments. You know, I'm just a really small creator now, but hopefully that could be something in the future. So that's kind of like how I'm going to structure with Tiffany, and go from there. I'm still working on the visual brand identity. I think I want pink to be a part of that. Like pink and gold is gonna kind of be a consistent theme for me. I like the idea of like the pink aesthetic. I've tried to do like other colors, but pink just feels right to me. In a certain way, that identity feels like a niche as well, as like the pink girly aesthetic. I want it to be a cross between like kind of like super girly but still a little bit elevated, so hopefully you'll notice like my font and things like that. It's not like in your face like cutesy girly. It's still a little bit more mature but has the pink flair to it, because I feel like that kind of goes with me. Is like I like Disney. I like to have like little hidden things and have cute things, but you're not necessarily gonna see me like with a character plastered on my shirt or something like that. Just kind of like little sweet touches of Disney and cute things is kind of like how I like to balance it out. So that's kind of like the brand identity and the way that I'm trying to go. And I think it's been working all right. I mean, things are just kind of slow to start. I'm still trying to figure out my content flow. In terms of filming, I just like the home stuff is kind of hard because I just forget all the time, and I really lose my patience with setting up my tripod and adjusting the height and getting every angle and the amount of angles that you need to get, because I don't just do productivity for the camera. I am genuinely like this in real life. So sometimes I get aggravated with slowing down for the camera, which I know will be something I just have to work on over time. If you guys see me being hyper productive, that's not just for the camera. I really do write checklists every day. And when the video doesn't look that good, just know it's because I got impatient and I just needed to knock the stuff out. I was just getting frustrated. So there's that. I feel like I've been talking for a long time, so I think I'm gonna try to do creator diaries either once a month or every other week. I'm still trying to figure out my flow of content. Obviously I have the structure of all the playlists, so, and I want to be adding to each of the playlists on like a semi-consistent basis. Like obviously like XL McKenna tries to do every other Sunday for her videos, or Paige does every Sunday for her videos, but they kind of just are what they are. Or McKenna's is the DIY. But you know, if I do a cooking playlist, I don't want to post a cooking video every 6 months. Like that's not going to help me build up that playlist. So I feel like I need to figure out how many playlists I want to have, and then within a month's time frame, like if I do 2 or 3 videos a week, how can I divide those out where I'm feeding those playlists pretty comfortably? So that's probably what I'm going to be working on next. And then the last thing I thought I would talk to you guys about is slide jewelry. So I signed up to be an ambassador, and the only reason why I decided to do that was just so I could start taking photos for a brand, to start showing my ability to do that. I hopefully when I get monetized one day, because it's gonna happen, I can get a manager, and just I want to start showing that I've done stuff for brands. I can take photos for brands, and I can make posts for brands. So the jewelry is free, but I have to pay for shipping every month, and I get a necklace and a bracelet every month, and this is the first one that I got in the mail. You don't get to pick it. It's kind of like one of those subscription mailboxes. And this is the bracelet. And then I'll pop up the image of me that I took for it. So that's kind of something that I've been working on. I have to pay $14.99 for shipping, which I know just covers the cost of the jewelry anyway. But I think I'm just gonna do it for like 6 months, maybe a year, if I start liking some of the jewelry. But at least I can say I have like 6 months of posts and photos for the brand. And then I'll try to find something else that I can sign up to be a part of and just start building like my brand resume. So that's something I've been working on too. And if you guys have questions about that, you can comment. I guess I might as well show you what I got this month too. I don't really love this one, but what's fun about this stuff is like you get things that you wouldn't normally get, and it kind of challenges you to style it. And you know, you're not always going to get product that you're obsessed with, so kind of learning to style things and what you get and kind of get your mind wrapped around that, I think it's good practice. But hopefully I can get shots of me doing some things, and the next creative diaries will be a little bit more dynamic than me just sitting here. But if you made it to this point in the video, I so appreciate you. If you could subscribe and stick around for more of what With Tiffany has to offer, I would be greatly appreciative. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.